Let's go!
I sold up in booze.
Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, they've done it again. And on the last night of Taylor Swift's Eras Tour, we had a vintage Mahomes-Kelce performance. We start with an unfreaking believable throw with a really good pocket, Patrick Mahomes to Travis Kelce, and we'll end with the Mahomes-Kelce connection a little bit later. Right, so it's third and Blue Springs here a little bit later in the drive, and obviously DJ Humphries was the big story last night. Chiefs trying to find an answer at left tackle. So on that play you just saw, Humphries actually got beat, and this time Joe Thuney, who's probably the best left guard in the league, he leaves the DT to go help out with Bosa over here, and watch this. Bang! Okay? And he kind of just sort of gave up on the play after that big hit. So Mahomes steps up into the pocket, and eventually he gets sacked. Now, what happened on this play in particular? Well, since it was third and long, well, this to Travis Kelce was there. Is that picking up the first down? It probably is. You can see that the Chargers were really sifting back into the zone coverage. 7 guys back in coverage, so nothing here is going to be open. This does open up eventually, this dig, but this pocket had already collapsed, and guess what? It's a sack. KC held to a field goal. We move ahead here. Man, they do this better than anyone. They get really heavy in their personnel grouping, okay? They're in 21 personnel, 2 running backs, and a tight end. Play action fake right here. And watch, it's Joe Thuney again, right up the middle, gets beat by Poona Ford. All right, so there's a guy right in Mahomes' face, and he's able to deliver an absolute strike. Now, before we show you the throw, this honestly is really good stuff. Vertical right here from DeAndre Hopkins, and you're running a dig behind it. The vertical carries this corner and the safety, and it opens up all the space versus cover 3. Dagger concepts, Yankee concepts are really good cover 3 beaters. And Mahomes, with the guy right in his face, he steps up for his Pro Bowl left guard who missed the key block here. And guess what? He's got Juju Smith-Schuster wide the frick open right here. It's really, really, really good stuff. And yeah, you get a nice explosive gain. I made this comment on my last Chiefs video. You guys know I've kind of become a member of the Chiefs kingdom, a little bit on the bandwagon here. I don't think you're going to win the Super Bowl this year because this left tackle situation just is not going to get solved. If you have just slightly better protection, you're hitting this out route for a pretty nice gainer. And Mahomes, man, I'm telling you, this is such elite quarterback play. And look, I have a pretty radical way of defining quarterback play. The best of the best do the absolute best at avoiding disastrous plays. All right, so Mahomes is trying to throw with a lot of anticipation. I don't know if he got lucky or not, but because he's getting rid of this so quick, he's not getting strip sacked, right? And could Mac have gotten here a little bit sooner? Maybe. Should he have swiped this arm a little bit more down to potentially force a fumble right here? You know, put it on the elbow? Maybe so. But that affects a wide open out route for a nice gain, and you have to kick another field goal. I do believe this was by far Mahomes' best game. I really, really, really do. Once again, the protection is an absolute disaster again, and the Chiefs are running mesh. All right, so this is not the longest developing play. They're actually running mesh rail. All right, if the running back decides to leak right here, you're getting an absolute huge one. They're bringing a pretty heavy blitz. The man coverage assignment was blown here, but still under heavy pressure, his first read here is actually to Xavier Worthy, and they have actually missed a few of these, but look at this ball location. Goodness gracious. And this is just an absolute huge gainer. The only thing, or actually, no, that was actually pretty good. So this is what Andy Reid decides to do if your protection is screwing up. Guess what? Just cut block their guys. So these quick cuts, along with Mahomes playing quick, you're able to get Travis Kelce into space. It's really, really, really good quarterbacking right there. Okay, so one thing I didn't really like about the Chargers in this spot is how conservative they have their DBs here. I mean, I never quite understand having your heels this far into the end zone, especially with the Chiefs having these big body options. Mahomes plays quick. Corner is late to drive down on this, and that's just too easy for a Hall of Fame wide receiver. The Chargers, a lot of credit, had to deal with the Justin Herbert injury. And then this was the Chiefs' first possession of the third quarter, and you see once again their offensive tackles are really, really, really struggling, okay? I don't know how much of an effect it had on this play, but that just shows you the Chargers have juice at both their pass rush positions, okay? Now, before we show you the throw, let's break down what actually happened on this play. You get a pre-snap motion here with Travis Kelce, and the job of this is to create traffic for a rollout here to the right side to Xavier Worthy, and the Chargers just pass everything off well. The corner sees what they're trying to do, and could this ball have been thrown to Worthy? Yes. You could throw this and hit this upfield shoulder to protect him, but Mahomes decides to not throw it. And yeah, so this pressure really did have an effect on it. And then right here, no. So Mahomes decides to work to the backside. And once again, right before he gets sacked, he avoids the disastrous strip sack, gives this guy a chance, but it's short. All right, 3rd and 3, and the Chiefs actually see something pretty exotic right here from the Chargers. So with number 7, Christian Fulton here in the middle of the field, you're thinking that this is some variation of man coverage, but it's not. It's zone, and everything is just getting passed off underneath. And guess what? They cover it fine, all right? Everything is covered pretty well here, okay? Could this to Travis Kelce have eventually gotten you there? Sure, right? This does get yourself a first down. But I actually really do like this call from the Chargers, right? It's something different. Because if you're looking at this pre-snap, I would guess that this would be open as well. So you hit P-Ryan, you have 2 guys here to make a play, and you just don't do it. If you're the Chargers, not only do you not make that play, you allow an absolutely massive gain of yards after the fact. And obviously, this is more so a Mahomes study, but game on the line, why not trust Joe Thuney and Creed Humphrey, okay? Not Tooney's best game, a little bit of a whiff, but that's enough to create a hole right here. And obviously, Creed Humphrey's doing his job. And Isaiah Pacheco back in the action, looking pretty good for Kansas City. Good stuff. 3rd and Leewood. You get a drop from Nuke. You get a really good pocket this time. Lots of doubles to help with the pass rush problem. And yes, you could have hit check downs to make it interesting, but goodness gracious, look at this ball location from Patrick freaking Mahomes. Hopkins has got to catch it. I understand this is a big, big, big hit, but DeAndre Hopkins will tell you that he needs to bring that down. All right, tell me if you've seen this playbook. Chris Jones makes a play, and the Chiefs end up winning the game. All right? Amazing bull rush right there versus a double. You get a big sack. Chargers have to kick a field goal, and now it's Mahomes' time. 3rd and Weatherby Lake. We're going to break this down from so many different angles. And look, 50-yard line, good visual cue. This is where you got to get the football to, all right, to keep this game alive. Now, I want to break down the protection, but do it from the end zone angle. All right, so this should have been the defensive call of the year, but every last person must execute their assignment if you're going to be Patrick Mahomes. So the first thing I like about this, double A gap blitz look, all right? The one thing I like about a double A gap blitz look is that it's harder for this guard to come help out this tackle because you might have to be blocking the A gap, right? It just makes everything that much harder. And what the Chargers like to do is send Derwin James, send him, and this blitzer is actually replacing a slot corner blitz. Steve Spagnuolo is the absolute best at this. So watch what happens. Creed Humphrey makes the bad decision here to leave this A-gap blitzer unblocked, all right? So it's actually not the bad decision. The running back's job is to pick up this A-gap blitzer. And guess what? Creed Humphrey lets him go. Derwin James is through. But watch what happens. This Samaje Perine protection is so good. Not only does he pick up Derwin James, this also cuts off the nickel blitzer who's coming through here untouched. All right? So if Derwin James had elected to go to the right of Samaje Perine, in other words, go over the top of him this way, you're getting a nickel blitz sack right here. Or in this case, if Creed Humphrey had picked up Derwin James and the running back not seen this nickel blitz coming from over here, this would have been a sack to probably end this game. All right? But because that blitz pickup was so good, you notice it cuts off this nickel corner blitzing from over here. Mahomes saw him anyway. So this sack might not have even happened. So Mahomes steps up into the pocket and keeps his eyes down the field. All right. So watch what happens. You'll see it from this angle a little bit better. So Derwin James gets through untouched, and because Perine kept him on this side, remember, it cuts off this slot corner blitz, and you get a really good protection from Humphreys versus Khalil Mack on the game's biggest play. All right, so Mahomes steps up. He sees Xavier Worthy, finds an open window, and he just floats it right perfectly into his chest for a first down. Excellent stuff. All righty. We get to the Mahomes play. My goodness gracious. So the first thing is you had to have known that they're not going to run the football. So this is the Super Bowl all over again with a Bosa freaking brother. Why on earth are you crashing down here? Just guess that Mahomes is going to pull it, all right? Just guess. Number one, the running back didn't even go to the left. So he potentially could have seen that and just played the quarterback. But no, you got to lose contain. You might not have even had contained responsibilities. I don't freaking care. Andy Reid's name is not Zach Taylor. He's not going to hand the football off to Samaje Perine in a very critical moment. And yes, have not gotten over that Joe Burrow Super Bowl loss when Zach Taylor did that very thing. But anyway, Juju Smith-Schuster is there to block the contained defender, but Bosa, man, play the quarterback, and at least this play is a little bit more interesting. But still, the Chargers are in a semi-decent spot here, okay? Now, the only thing I don't like about this from a Chargers perspective is in this spot, defensively, I am playing so hard at the sticks. I did not say that well at all. I don't really see the purpose of a deep safety right here. Number one, they're not throwing anything deep. They just want to gain the yards. And if they do beat you deep, guess what? You're getting the football back with time to spare if they're scoring a touchdown. So it's not the worst thing. You're in trouble either way, whether Mahomes gets this or not. So I don't really understand bailing into three high here if you are in the spot, right? I just don't like that. I would prefer my DBs to be playing a lot harder here, especially if there is really no vertical threat to the right side. Both of these guys run 5'8", 40-yard dashes at this stage in their career. They're not beating you deep. They're just not. So I don't understand that, all right? It's kind of tough, though, when you're in the spot, but this was, I believe, coming out of a timeout. Either way, we get to the play. Now, first thing here is the Chargers do a really good job passing all this off. Okay, the corner is reading Samaje Perine. They're not going to let him beat you. Okay, and as you can see, Mahomes looked to the left to see if this backside over was open, and it wasn't. Okay, it was a really good job by Mahomes to not throw it. Then he does a really good job, Patrick, right here. Seeing this guy's about to come clobber him, stop. Man, that's just so slick. And Travis Kelce once again finds this little window, as big a target as he possibly can. Two hands up. I'm wide open. Just catch it. fall down, don't even try and gain any extra yards. He gives himself up here, and what a nice play. I know the PFF grades don't show it, the QBR numbers or whatever. I thought this was Mahomes' best game. I really, really, really do when it comes, obviously, to this 2024 season. I mean, knowing what they have at the offensive tackle position and him producing like this is so freaking insane. And yes, a lot of people like to point to the Chiefs being lucky and all of that, but while they are lucky in these close games, two things. The first is it really luck when every game plays out like this, right? It has the same kind of pace. It has the same kind of rhythm, ball control offense, not getting too crazy, not losing the game, clutch defense, these 19-17 games, right? The second consecutive week you beat a division opponent by that very score, not ever scoring more than 30, but not giving up a lot of points either. It's a formula, right? So while there is a lot of luck that goes into the Chiefs' 12-1 record, even if a few results go the opposite way, they're still 10-3 in playing a style of football. This is the second important thing. Most playoff games are like this, right? I understand like Josh Allen and those guys have had better seasons at the quarterback position, but how many 44-42 playoff results do you see? You don't really see them, right? Most of them are like this. So this style of game really does get you ready for how games are played in the playoffs. Wow. It is Power Hour NFL. Boom. Comment below if you think this was Patrick's best game of the season. And tonight we are doing barbecue chicken. Let's go.